I'm very bullish. My forecast in July of last year in Nashville was Bitcoin's going to appreciate 29% a year on average for the next 21 years. I think Bitcoin's up 57% a year for the past 4.5 years. Again, that's double the Mag 7. That's quadruple the S&P. That's 8 times real estate, and bonds are down 4%. So Bitcoin is smashing everything, Joe. I'm getting more bullish on that forecast.
Bitcoin is smashing everything, and it's just getting started. That's the message from Strategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor. In the last 4.5 years, Bitcoin has delivered over 57% annual returns. That is twice the growth of the top tech companies. It is now 4 times stronger than the S&P 500 and 8 times greater than real estate, while bonds, by comparison, have fallen into negative territory. Bitcoin is leaving everything else behind, and the gap just keeps widening. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as Michael Saylor explains why Bitcoin's explosive growth is just getting started, and how missing out on Bitcoin now could be the biggest mistake investors make in the next 20 years.
Bitcoin's been acknowledged as the one digital commodity in the world by the administration. The banking regulators have given a green light to bank Bitcoin. The accountants have upgraded the accounting to fair value accounting. There's been a surge of Bitcoin treasury companies. There's like 100 public companies or more that are holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and every single week there's another announcement. I think that, it used to be we're focused on the halvings, but at this point, the entire natural supply of Bitcoin is only 450 Bitcoin available for sale every day. That's sort of about $45–50 million a day at this level. That is all being consumed by the Bitcoin treasury companies, and the Bitcoin ETFs are coming on strong. So I'm very bullish. My forecast in July of last year in Nashville was Bitcoin's going to appreciate 29% a year on average for the next 21 years. And that moves it from, it was about mid-60s, 65,000 to 13 million a coin in the year 2045. I'm getting more bullish on that forecast, but I'm certainly comfortable forecasting 30% a year ARR on average for the next 20 years.
You obviously are the ultimate hodler. You would buy, if you have money, you buy Bitcoin, I think, don't you? It doesn't matter whether it's up, down, or flat.
150% Bitcoin, Joe.
It's been a great journey since August 10th of 2020. MicroStrategy's bought about $8.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. And since we levered it, we're up 825%. The number one performing stock in the S&P is NVIDIA, up 821% as of Friday. So we beat every single company in the S&P index using a Bitcoin strategy. Our primary business is a Bitcoin development company. So what we're doing is we're securitizing Bitcoin. We're selling convertible bonds for people that don't want the full volatility and all the risk of Bitcoin. Some people want 150% risk, right? So some people want highly levered equity, and they trade the options. And so we have a very big, deep, rich options market. We've got high performance equity, and then we've basically pioneered the Bitcoin-backed bond market by issuing all of these convertible bonds that are backed by 5x more Bitcoin collateral. If you're investing in the ETF, you're getting 1-for-1 performance, paying 25 basis point fee, no yield. When we issue a $1 billion convertible bond paying 1% interest, we're capturing a 50% premium or 50% type BTC yield on that up front, and then we capture another yield on the back end. So if what you wanted was a sort of a tax-deferred yield on your asset, or you wanted to tap into the convertible bond market, like if you wanted to borrow $1 billion for a percent, right, buy Bitcoin with it, hold it for 7 years, you can't do that as an individual, but MicroStrategy can do it.
What have you made? Right now, I think I just saw a headline that $1.2 billion in outflows took place out of the Bitcoin ETF. And I'm curious sort of what you think is going on with the impact of the ETF on the price of Bitcoin.
I think generally it's been a good thing and it's created more demand, but you got to keep in mind that Bitcoin is smart, fast, strong money. So on a Saturday night, if you're worried about a missile strike, you can't teleport your $10 million apartment to Singapore, lever it up 10 to 1 and short $100 million worth of New York real estate. But you can short $100 million worth of Bitcoin by borrowing $10 million. So you have a lot of fast money traders, a lot of volatility, and that will cause and ripple into volatility in the ETFs. It's the most liquid, fungible, free capital market in the world. Your New York apartment's not fungible. It's not liquid. I can't panic sell it. So when there's a short-term panic, Bitcoin is trading really, really
Isn't it
hard.
supposed to be the opposite?
Over the long term, it's up 44% a year every year, and you either get 12% from the S&P with VIX vol, or you take 3x the vol to get 44%. So over the long term, if you're an investor, it's going to be great because it's strong capital. Over the near term, if you're a trader, you get lots of arbitrage opportunities.
Bitcoin has delivered 44% annual returns on average over the long term. But over the past 4.5 years alone, it's returned 57% annually. The S&P gives you 12. Saylor says if you want that kind of performance, if you want Bitcoin-level gains, you have to accept the volatility. Traders will chase short moves and short the dips, but smarter investors aren't watching the noise. They're securing the asset that moves fast, holds firm, and grows stronger over time.
Every single crisis recruits a new class of Bitcoin believers. There's just a delay in between the crisis and the Bitcoin rally. So, for example, in March, Bitcoin crashed with everything else down to like 4,000 or 4,500. And I started buying it in the 9,000s or the 10,000s. And I remember when Bitcoin was 10,000 and the NASDAQ was like 12,000. And, then Bitcoin would rally up and rage, and then there would be a crypto crash and it came down. And the near-term reaction is always the market cramps and everybody sells everything. But the long-term reaction is, if I had all my money invested in Bitcoin instead of invested in that company, I wouldn't have been affected by tariffs. And so what you have is a reallocation of portfolios to being more Bitcoin, less the other thing. People are thinking now, if I had more Bitcoin, less gold, I would have made a lot more money in the last 4 years. If I had more Bitcoin, less big tech, I would have made a lot more money. If I had more Bitcoin and less that bond instrument, I would have done better. So these are teaching moments, right? And in any macro panic, the most liquid, leverageable asset is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only thing that you can sell. You can sell it short with 50x leverage on Saturday morning. It's the only thing that you can short 50x on Saturday morning. So when people panic on a weekend or an evening, it's going to be volatile. And if someone wants to sell some financial asset because of some gloom and doom thing that's happened, they're going to go to Bitcoin first because it's the only thing they can trade. And not just trade in the US, trade globally, worldwide. And so it is volatile because it is useful, and it will be in times of panic and contraction. It will correlate for a short moment with other assets, but then it will bounce back and it will break. It'll break that correlation, decouple, and it'll rally higher. And that has happened, consistently for the past 15 years, and it's happening right now as we watch it. So I'm calm in these times because I think we're going to win over a new set of Bitcoin believers, and a new set of people that thought they had the perfect business are going to realize that no investment in real estate and private equity and public equity or in a currency derivative is a risk-free investment. And when we say, look, Bitcoin is not a currency derivative, it is not a company, it is not real estate, it doesn't have a supply chain, it has no employees, it has no nexus, it is not, subject to that counterparty risk. And so the reason we announced we're going to double our capital raising program And the reason the stock trades up when we announce we're going to issue $21 billion of equity is because the investors understand. They're on the journey with us, and we keep recruiting new investors. And I think there was some stat that I heard from an investment bank. They said, last year, your company was like 16% of all the equity raised in the stock market or something. So, we're not half, but the point is one company out of 5,000 companies that is raising, 16% of the capital on the market suggests that there are a lot of equity investors that are discovering what we're doing. And, what I've said about Bitcoin, right? The secret of Bitcoin and the simple, elegant truth and the reason that it's spreading virally everywhere on earth and the reason it'll keep spreading. So a lot of smart people in the world, they just want to keep their money. That's the secret, right? People buy Bitcoin because they want to keep their money. People are starting to buy Bitcoin treasury companies like Strategy because we've constructed a very elegant, powerful business model based upon digital capital that strips away all of the dozen risks that are plaguing every other well-run company in the world right now. And so investors are smart. They think, well, how do I get a return and avoid the risk, and what's working? And, more and more are discovering our company every day.
Right this moment, more and more people are moving their wealth into Bitcoin, not out of speculation, but out of necessity. As time goes by, fiat currencies are gradually losing value, bonds are underperforming, and banks are failing. People are watching their savings erode, and they're looking for a way out. Bitcoin offers a lifeline. It's liquid, borderless, and resistant to the forces draining every other asset. It doesn't promise easy wealth, but it offers something much more valuable: the ability to protect what you've built. In today's economy, holding Bitcoin isn't just a choice anymore. It's how you secure your future. Now, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 90,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it gave you some value. I'll see you all at the next one, and as always, all the best.